Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the How to Start a Toastmasters Club webinar. This evening we're going to walk through and talk about the steps involved in starting a club. There'll be a presentation about the steps that are involved in starting a club, and then we'll follow that up with a question and answer period. So if you've got any questions, feel free to kind of hold those until the end, and then we'll leave time for people to ask their questions. We're recording this webinar for replay at your leisure, so if you think you missed something, I'll be uploading it onto YouTube on the District 99 YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch it there. The information this evening is based on information taken from a publication from Toastmasters. If you're looking for it, it's toastmasters.org/121. We'll bring it up. It's a brochure that's called How to Build a Toastmasters Club. It's a step-by-step guide. It also includes all the forms that you would need, because there are forms and there's paperwork involved in setting up a Toastmasters Club. So what's in it for me? Why would you do this in the first place? Let's talk a little bit about that. Well, first of all, I guess you could say there's the satisfaction that you help new people get into the program. As a Toastmasters organization, one of the things we want to do is bring more people into the organization so that they can benefit from the programs. We also think that the experience of organizing a new club is a great experience. It can really give you a foot up in terms of understanding the process of organizing or something like that, and you can take those skills into the real world. And of course, for those of you that are working towards your designations and someday won't hope to be a DTM, you can get credit towards the completion of your Advanced Toastmasters Silver Award because you've completed one of the steps, which is either starting a club as a sponsor or staying with a club that's been created as a mentor. And of course, the other options for getting credit towards that is to actually coach an existing club, which we talked about in a previous webinar. So what's in it for me? I think it's a great experience. There's a lot of satisfaction. You get to meet some great new people, and you get to bring them into the organization and help them to learn something about how to be better speakers, how to be better communicators and leaders. To start a club, you must have 20 people. Now, you can have some of those people be members of other clubs, but no more than 3 can be what we call dual members, right? So you have to have at a minimum 17 brand spanking new people, and 3 people that could be members of other clubs. Again, remember, the idea of starting a new club is that we want to bring in new people into the organization. You need to fill out the forms and submit to Toastmasters International with the proper payments. So the process, we'll talk about the forms at the end, but there is of course paperwork, and Toastmasters International has fees that are put in place that you need to pay in order to register your club. You also need to find 2 mentors, and I should have said 2 sponsors. So 2 sponsors and 2 mentors that will work with the club for the first 6 months. The sponsors will work to get the club started, and the mentors will stay with the club for at least 6 months to help that club get it off the ground and get operational. Requirements for all clubs. So if you're starting a club, some things that you need to consider, and whether there are 2 basic kinds of clubs, community or corporate clubs, you need to meet these requirements. The clubs have to meet at least 12 times a year. Regular meetings have to be conducted in person, although Toastmasters International has started to recognize the concept of having satellite meetings at a virtual location and linking them in with video. Members must give speeches in person and give and receive verbal evaluations. So that's important, that people are attending meetings, giving speeches. We don't want people sending in pre-recorded speeches and getting them evaluated. There's no personal contact in that. And members must be afforded the opportunity to develop and practice leadership skills. So again, the program is all about developing leadership and communication skills. So those are some of the things that we expect clubs to provide opportunities. So let's get right into it. What's the process? Step One, I would suggest you learn how Toastmasters works if you don't. If you've got some experience and understanding, then you can maybe skip this part of it. But if you're fairly new to Toastmasters or you're not a Toastmaster, you want to make sure that you get some ideas by looking at clubs around to sort of understand what kind of a club are you looking to start, and get some ideas about clubs that exist as to how they're structured, and that might give you some ideas on how you want to structure your club. Get advice from an experienced Toastmaster. So it's always good to have the benefit of experience. Find somebody who started a club before, and just sit them down and ask some questions. As well, if you have questions, you can always get in touch with the club growth director, and that's me right now this year, and ask for help. So if you email me at cgd@d99tm.org, we can set up a time and sit down together, and we can have a chat. The other source of information that you can get is you can talk to the new club team at Toastmasters International, and they will assist you as well. And typically they will answer any questions you might have, and they'll probably try to link you up with me so that you can get that personal one-on-one help closer to where you are. Step 2, so what kind of a club are you trying to start? There are two types of clubs that Toastmasters International talks about. One is a corporate club, and this is typically a club that is started within an organization, a company. Typically it has some sort of sponsorship from that organization, and it gets its membership from the base of that organization. So this is a club that meets typically at the workplace, and how it's structured and how it works within the organization is something you'll have to work out with the organization when you're starting the club. A community club is more generally a club that meets somewhere. This is a little different because you'll have to find a location. You'll typically be open to anyone and not necessarily tied to any sponsoring organization. So the members themselves may come from very diverse groups. You might target a specific demographic, but the membership will probably be a very diverse membership that you're dealing with. So essentially those two types of clubs. So figure out what kind of environment you'd like to start a club in, and then sort of do your homework in terms of what would be involved there. Find your sponsors and mentors is step 3, I think. If you read the How to Start a Toastmasters Club, they actually say find your sponsors. They don't say mentors. I threw that in there. I think it's important that you, at the same time that you find sponsors for the club, and you can have up to 2 people who will act as sponsors, and their role is to essentially market the new club to prospective members, present demonstration meetings, help with completing the forms, essentially everything that you need to do, to all the assistance you might need to get the club to the point where you have the requisite number of members to get started. A new club can also have up to 2 mentors, and these are people who would stick with the club and help with organizing during the first 6 months of operation. Now, part of the reason why I kind of think it's important to get these people identified now is that while the sponsors are working on getting the requisite 20 members to start your club, you will hopefully be running regular meetings and have the opportunity for people to join those meetings. So it would be nice to have those mentors involved too, so that they can be helping to build a quality meeting environment, so that as you bring in guests, they're actually seeing a quality product and wanting to stay and wanting to join. These should be experienced Toastmasters who are prepared to work with you to get the club up and running. If you are one of the sponsors, if it's you that's sponsoring the club, then you need to be somebody who's, I would hope that you're someone who's been in Toastmasters for a while doing this. If not, work with somebody who's experienced to help you and get you up to running. Next, you want to generate interest. So if it's a corporate club, what typically you would do is maybe talk to the HR department and use the corporate marketing material that's provided. There's a letter that Toastmasters International provides that explains the opportunity. There are sheets that you can take with you. There's one called the Features, Benefits, Values chart that talks about the features, the benefits, and the values of a Toastmasters club. There's also a corporate presentation, so it's a PowerPoint presentation that you just have to customize a little bit, drop in the logo of the company and the name of the company you're dealing with, and it gives you a nice presentation that explains what Toastmasters is, explains what the due structure is, explains the process, etc. And then once you've made that arrangement, you want to set up and conduct a demonstration meeting, having them help you collect the people that would be part of the pool that you would be trying to recruit. This is actually a route that I just went through recently at my workplace, where I actually did this with HR, sat down, talked to them, sold them on the idea. They loved it. We did a demonstration meeting. We sent out the invitations. We had 50 people show up for the demonstration meeting, and we were able to charter the club fairly quickly. So if you've got the support of an organization and they think it's a good idea, that's really key to the whole thing, because that'll help you to really catapult and launch and get things started as quickly as possible. If you're doing a community club, it's a little bit different. In a corporate club environment, you're probably going to meet right on the corporation or the company site. They may have a room that they'll provide and equipment that they would provide for your meetings. In a community club, it's going to be incumbent upon you to find the right location. So you're going to want to find a room that can hold 20 people. You're going to want to ensure that that location is secured on a night that's convenient for the people that you're going to go after to be prospective members. And you want it to be something that is going to be fairly steady. You're going to have access to it. Churches sometimes can be great locations. Hotels, the only caveat there is be prepared that you're going to pay something for that room, so you have to figure that into your due structure. There are clubs that meet in a variety of different locations. Really, it's up to you to find something that would be suitable for a meeting. Then you want to plan a demonstration meeting and invite the prospective members, and how you invite those members is really up to you as to how you do it. Again, if you've got a specific group, like perhaps you want to start a club that might be associated with a church or people in a specific community, then you're going to find ways to market that, whether it's flyers, pamphlets, etc. And you'll find that Toastmasters International has a lot of that material available for you, either to download for free so that you can print it out, or that you can order online so that you can actually use that information to then promote. So those marketing materials that are provided by Toastmasters International are excellent for using it if you want to get the word out about your club and what you're trying to do. You want to schedule, as I said, you want to schedule your demo meeting, and there's some key things about your demo meeting that you want to keep in mind. I kind of put some points on the side, and that was to keep it short, keep it focused, give information that's relevant to what the decision that the people are trying to make, answer any questions they have, and then ask for the sale. And that's very, very important at the end. On the left-hand side, I put an example agenda. We use this for the meeting for the club that I just started. We basically started off with a very simple introduction, the Toastmaster introducing the representatives that were there from the company. Then we did an explanation of the key meeting roles. And so for the demonstration meeting, we essentially had one speaker, one evaluator, a table topic master, and one person who was lined up to do a table topic. You might have one or two, but again, you want to keep it fairly close. And we had a general evaluator who gave an example of what a general evaluation would be like, just to give some flavor. Your goal is what we tried to do for a goal for this one was keep it all within an hour. And so we structured the meeting such that we would be about 30 minutes for the actual demonstration meeting, 35 minutes for that. And then we left some time for questions and to describe the charter process. We also took advantage of the fact that they had AV equipment in the room that we were in, and we showed the club experience video, which is available on YouTube, and I put the link there at the bottom of the presentation. That was about a 12-minute video that takes through just a brief explanation and overview of a Toastmasters meeting and the opportunity. Then we explained the dues structure, kind of talked about what the dues were, answered any questions, and then at the end we closed by essentially asking point blank, and you kind of have to be point blank about it, are you guys ready to commit to join the club? So when it was all said and done, the question that I posed, and this was actually a technique and a tip that I got from our king of club building here in Edmonton, Peter Kosowin. He said that at the end it's really important that you close by asking the question. Just say, how many people here are ready to commit and join this new club? At that point, make sure you have applications on hand, get them to fill them out, and if you're collecting money, collect the money so that you have it, and then from there you go. It's critical that for a demonstration meeting like this, as I said, your goal is to get 20 people to sign up. You want to get as many people as you can out to this demonstration meeting. You also want to have, as you can see, a number of positions there. You want to have probably 6 to 8 Toastmasters there to help you with putting on the meeting and putting on a quality demonstration. If you have at least 25 to 30 people there for your demonstration meeting, which would be ideal, you can hopefully sign up, a significant portion of the number of people that you want to sign. If you've done a good job, hopefully you've impressed them enough that they will be interested in signing up. At this point, you will have to take a look at what your progress is, and then figure out where you go from there. If you, for example, have a demonstration meeting and you only get 5 people interested, then you sort of have to sit back and say, okay, what am I flogging a dead horse in this situation? Am I going to have a difficulty getting the number of people that I need? One thing to keep in mind is that once you start the process of forming a club, and once you've filled out your application to charter, you have 2 years to actually complete that process. So if you don't do very well in your demonstration meeting in terms of getting commitment, then you might have a long road to get to the 20 members by the time the 2 years is up. If you've got good numbers, so if you get 15 up to 15, around 15 people signing up, then you're probably looking at a fairly short road, and hopefully not too long before you can actually recruit the additional people you need to get to that number of 20. Again, that's the magic in the process, is that you've just got to really work at finding the right people, and I would really emphasize that it's worth your while to spend the time it takes to do a good job of promoting your demo meeting and getting as many people out as possible, so that you have a good shot at signing up the bulk of the people that you're going to need. Really, it's just like any Toastmasters club. If you don't have the numbers, then it's hard to attract more people. If they come in and they see a situation where there just aren't the number of people there, it doesn't give a good impression of what the club's all about. So the demonstration meeting, I think, is key. You really have to push hard, do a good job, set a realistic date, and do a really great job of promoting and getting people out to that. As I said, the pitch, you have the demo meeting, you do your participants share their, you get the Toastmasters there to share their success stories, introduce the sponsors and mentors, so they should be there, and you want to make sure you introduce them so that people understand who they are and explain what their roles, explain the dues structure, answer any questions, and then, as I said, ask for the commitment. So how many of you will commit to join this new club, and have those applications there. The applicable fees that you're going to tell them about, there is a one-time charter fee of $125. This fee, you fill out the form and send it in with this fee, and as soon as you do that, that triggers Toastmasters International send you a new club kit. And that new club kit has a bunch of supplies in it that you would need. It'll have a gavel, it'll have timing cards, it will have 20 sets of manuals for Toastmasters. So your new members that come in, they will all need a manual. They'll need the Competent Communicator and Competent Leader manuals. There are 20 envelopes in there with those in it, and then that's your stock to draw from as you go. If you are really successful and you sign up 30 people, you're going to get 20 manuals in this box. And then when you send in the dues in the next step, when you actually get your 20 people in charter, and my club that I did was actually in that situation, we chartered with 31 members. So we had 20 sets of manuals to start with, and when we sent in the money for the 31, as soon as they got it and processed it, they actually sent us the additional manuals that we needed to give to the rest of the people that had signed up. You make a decision, so when you actually have the 20 people, you'll send in their application forms, and you'll send in $20 per member as their new member fee, and $45 for the first 6 months of their membership dues. $33.75 for clubs that are not in the district, but that doesn't really apply to us here. You can decide at that time, if you've collected the money from people, to actually send in $90 per person, and then that means they're paid for a year. And that sometimes is a good thing, because it just sort of gets rid of the the need to redo that again in 6 months' time. Renewals are still on the October 1st, April 1st. When you sign up a new club, they don't prorate the first 6 months, so you're sending in $45. So if you're sort of halfway through that 6-month period, you're going to pay $45 then, and then when the next semi-annual due is due, you'll have to pay $45 then and go forward from that point forward. So what's next after you've had your demo meeting? You fill out what's called Form 1, is the application to organize a Toastmasters club, and that's the form you fill out and send in with your $125. That triggers Toastmasters International to send you the new club kit, which includes 20 member kits, 20 magazines, a gavel, timing cards, ballot forms, a whole bunch of supplies that the club would need to get started. We would encourage that after you've got your you had your first demo meeting and got your people started, one of the first things you're going to need is to elect an executive from amongst the members. So it's a good idea to very quickly sit down and explain to the people, what some of the roles are for the executive, and get some people to fill those positions and get mentors working with them to help teach them their job. You're going to have an executive when you actually fill out your charter application. It's a requirement that you actually send in the executive that has been elected. What I did with the club that I had is I actually talked to them and I said, well, would you be willing to serve on the executive at least until a certain date, and if you guys don't want to continue, we can have an election and replace you at that point. We actually reached that date and nobody was too opposed to staying into it, so they just stayed, and they won't be replaced until the normal election time. And then start holding regular meetings. Like you want to get going and get regular meetings going and get the people that you've got up and running, get them started giving their icebreakers, get them started down the path, get them started, learning how to fulfill the various roles, and eventually, hopefully, starting to do evaluations so that they can become an operating club. And that's really where the mentors start to kick in, and they really help the club members to do that. And then once you've got 20 plus people, you fill out the rest of the paperwork. And that's Form 2, which actually is the charter payments. On there you would enter in the total amount of money you're sending in, the $20 US new member fee plus the $45 membership fee. And if you want to send another 6 months worth, you can. You need a Form 3, so for every person that's going to be a member of your club, they have to have filled out a charter membership application, read it, sign it, done all that fun stuff. There's a form where you specify who your club officers are. There's a Form 5, which has club information, like where you meet and information about your club. There's Form 6A, which is your club constitution. You have to fill in a couple things there, and your president and secretary have to sign it. And then Form 6B, club options, is kind of the bylaws for your club, specifying things like, meeting date, time, all that fun stuff. And if there's any restrictions to your club, so if you're in a corporate setting and you don't allow outside membership, you would specify that in your club options. Sign the form by your president and secretary. Have to sign the form. So once you've got all those forms put together and the payments all put together, you would send that into Toastmasters International, and the manual gives you an address where to send it, or alternately you can fax it in with a credit card number on it. That's fine as well. Once they process it, voila, you are a Toastmasters club. They will then start the process of getting you set up and getting you ready to go. The charter kit that you'll get when you send in that first initial fee of $125 will include these things. So that's just kind of a quick, dirty inventory of what's in there. So all the stuff that you'll need. So step 6, once you've done all that, it's time to celebrate. So you've got the club chartered, you've sent in all the money, Toastmasters International has acknowledged that they got the money and all is good. You should plan to have a charter party and celebrate your success. Starting a club is not a small thing, so it's a good thing to celebrate the achievement and recognize the people that worked hard to get this club up and running. The district director will be mailed your charter, so there is an actual charter document. and they'll be sent the member certificates for all the charter members. District 99 provides a banner for new clubs, so once we know that you've chartered your club, we will order a banner for you. And so those things will all get shipped to the district director. So we will then arrange and coordinate with the district director a date and a time that they can come and present the banner, the charter, and the member certificates. It's a big deal, so a little pomp and circumstance is warranted. It's a good idea to have a bit of a celebration. Some clubs have had a dinner to celebrate the fact that they were successful and did this. Other clubs, take different approaches, but it's usually a good thing to use this as an occasion to recognize and maybe get some publicity for the club, so that it helps to publicize who you are and what you are and where you're out there. For example, with the club that I just started, I plan to invite the CEO to the charter celebration so that he's aware of what's going on and can see and recognize the work that people are doing to become better communicators and better leaders within the organization. So I think that'll be a fun thing to do, and just something that'll be kind of fun so people can see that the CEO is behind what we're doing and supportive. So that kind of takes us to the end of the presentation part of it. We've only got a couple people on, but I'm going to open up the floor to questions. If anybody wants to ask questions, I'll open up the mics and let people throw out questions. And so unmute one. Oh, Jason, you muted yourself. You can bring yourself online if you want to ask a question, or you can just type it. Perfectly permissible to type your question in the chat bar, and I will read it and answer it. Any questions out there? Or did I do such a good job that there are no questions?
Oh, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Reese here.
Yep.
Hi, Jason.
He's still muted.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay. One question that I find that like the majority of the clubs are, founded in sort of, they're kind of like the same format under Peter Koss when he does a lot of corporate clubs downtown.
Mm-hmm.
What percent? Like I'm guessing it's probably about 75% that he helped start. Are there other people actively starting clubs besides him?
Well, besides, Peter Crosswin has a good track record of starting clubs here, so he has started lots of clubs, but there are lots of people starting clubs as well, other people looking at it. I started one. Paul Durand is the one that's behind the AMA club. Mark Farina has been instrumental in helping to start a few clubs. So there's a bunch of people out there that are looking and working on it. In Saskatoon, we've got a couple people. I know Don Zerkowski's got a team of people that he uses that either go in and rescue and or start new clubs. So there are quite a few people that are doing this, and it makes sense that there are, because there are lots of people that are going through the program, and one of the requirements that they need in order to make it all the way to DTM is to either start a club, mentor a club, or coach a club. So it's kind of one of the things that's in the path for a lot of people. Now, in the case of Peter, I know he has a team of people, and so there are a few people that have worked with him who kind of tag along, and they've gotten their sponsorship and mentorship credit by working with Peter as well. So he has a team, and we kind of have a name for that we call it a sponsor, mentor, and revival team. And in his case, it's mostly he's doing a lot of sponsorship. So he's starting new clubs, and he's had a good track record and success at starting clubs. So that's excellent.
Okay, thanks, Glenn.
Mm-hmm. Any other areas that you wanted to ask about?
I'm just trying to think. I know I'm familiar with the maps of, the locations of the Edmonton area clubs. Are there sort of like? I'm just trying to think. I guess if I wanted to, I could probably go do the corporate club, but I guess I'm probably more maybe I don't know, maybe the community, like I know I can't remember who started the 124th Street club out in Westmount,
Hmm.
but I was thinking, um, like, are there any clubs like areas of town that are probably looking for starting a club?
Um, well, we've got pretty good distribution in a lot of different areas, and I would say that even the community clubs, though, the bulk of them are kind of clustered in the high traffic areas. So you'll see a lot of them either in the university or along Calgary Trail and sort of some of those areas. There are, smatterings of community clubs that are out there in various areas. I know Millwood's got one or two out there, and there's different areas of Riverbend. There's some clubs out in that area. So I mean, we look at the maps and we kind of see if there's any places where it might make sense to drop in there and see if there's potential for a club. But with community clubs, it's kind of sometimes nice to find again, it's just like going into a small town. You want a local champion or somebody in that area who's willing to sort of help you with the promotion of that community club, so that you hopefully have more success getting people out. It's the old story of if you're a stranger in a strange area and you walk in, sometimes you don't have as much success as you are if you're somebody that lives in that area and knows a lot of people. Um,
Right.
so yeah, there is merit to that. Look at the map and sort of see where things are, and then um, kind of find spots where there. I know there's some new neighborhoods in town, like Summerside and Windermere. We haven't really looked hard at those yet, but they're starting to get to a point where they've got enough people in them that they might be a good place to look and see if there's a potential for clubs there.
Okay, thanks, Glenn.
A big part of it is just finding a place that has, a mass of people, because you need a mass of people to draw from, and facilities for meetings that are either reasonably priced and or free. Free being, wonderful, but you can't always find that. I know a lot of clubs meet in spaces that, they're paying something, anywhere from $50 a night to, in our case at Pursuers, we were paying about $125 a night until we made an arrangement with the restaurant and the hotel to meet there and eat meals and not have to pay for the room. So there's always innovative ways. You can find ways to find a space, but sometimes you have to, be a little bit innovative and kind of work with what you can get and what you can find. Jason's not asking any questions. Oh, he dropped off, so I guess we've lost him. Well, it's unfortunate. There was other people that were registered to join, so hopefully they'll get a chance to see this afterwards. Thanks for showing up, Reese.
Oh,
I will.
pleasure, Glenn.
Hopefully you found it informative and had at least a chance
Oh,
to
sure.
get a little bit of information. I would encourage you to download the How to Start a Toastmasters Club, that item 121, off of the Toastmasters site. There is a new club kit available from Toastmasters International, which has some flyers and stuff in it, but the actual How to Start a Toastmasters Club, they'll have a slip of paper in there that says download it from Toastmasters International, so that is the best source to get it from. It is a PDF and it has all the forms and everything in it, and it lays out the steps just as I've talked about them today. So good luck,
Okay.
have
Well,
fun,
thanks, Glenn.
and we shall